What happens when a respected journalist decides to challenge one of the most powerful entertainment executives in the industry on live television? Well, you're about to find out because what transpired between Mel Owens and Sam Champion on Good Morning America became one of the most explosive interviews in morning television history. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you think about journalists who refuse to back down from tough questions. It was supposed to be a routine promotional interview. Sam Champion, the controversial CEO of Titan Entertainment, was scheduled for a standard 7-minute segment to discuss his company's latest streaming platform launch. But Mel Owens, the veteran Good Morning America correspondent known for her no-nonsense interviewing style, had other plans entirely. The tension was palpable from the moment Champion settled into his chair across from Owens at the Good Morning America desk. The camera operators could sense something was different. The usual pre-interview banter was replaced by an uncomfortable silence, as Owens shuffled through her notes with deliberate precision. "Good morning, I'm Mel Owens, and we're here with Sam Champion, CEO of Titan Entertainment," Owens began, her voice carrying an edge that immediately caught Champion off guard. "Now, Sam, you're here to talk about your new streaming service, but I think our viewers deserve to hear about the elephant in the room first." Champion's smile faltered slightly. "I'm not sure what you mean, Mel. I'm here to discuss our exciting new platform that's going to revolutionize how families consume entertainment." "Are you really?" Owens interrupted, leaning forward. "Because I have documents here that suggest Titan Entertainment has been systematically underpaying content creators for the past 3 years. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in unpaid royalties." The studio fell silent. Camera operators exchanged glances as Champion's media handler, sitting just off camera, began frantically gesturing. But Owens wasn't finished. "These aren't allegations, Sam. These are facts. Internal emails from your own company discussing how to, and I quote, minimize creator payouts through contractual loopholes. Would you like to explain this to our viewers?" Champion's carefully rehearsed media persona began to crack. "Mel, I think you've been misinformed. Our creator compensation model is industry standard and completely transparent." "Industry standard?" Owens shot back, pulling out a thick folder. "According to your own internal audit, which was leaked to us yesterday, Titan Entertainment owes over $400 million in unpaid creator fees." $400 million, Sam. That's not industry standard. That's corporate theft." The CEO's face reddened as he realized this wasn't going to be the softball interview his publicity team had arranged. Those documents, if they even exist, were taken out of context. "You're making serious accusations without understanding the complexities of content licensing agreements." "Oh, I understand perfectly," Owens replied, her voice growing stronger. "I understand that while you're sitting here promoting a new platform to extract even more money from consumers, there are independent filmmakers, musicians, and content creators who can't pay their bills because your company refuses to honor its contracts." Champion glanced desperately toward his handler, but Owens continued her relentless questioning. "Let me read you something directly from an email sent by your head of creator relations. Quote, we need to find creative ways to delay payments until creators either give up or accept reduced settlements." End quote. "Your signature is on the approval for this strategy." "That's completely fabricated," Champion snapped, his composure finally breaking. "You're engaging in tabloid journalism, Mel. This is supposed to be a legitimate news program." "Tabloid journalism?" Owens's eyebrows shot up. "Sam, I've been a journalist for 22 years. I've covered wars, natural disasters, and political scandals. What I haven't done is sit quietly while a corporate executive lies to millions of viewers on live television." The interview was supposed to end in 2 minutes, but neither participant seemed aware of the time constraints. Champion, now visibly agitated, leaned forward in his chair. "You're ambushing me with unverified documents and conspiracy theories. This isn't journalism, it's character assassination. I came here in good faith to discuss legitimate business developments." "Good faith?" Owens laughed bitterly. "You want to talk about good faith? What about the good faith of the creators who trusted your company with their life's work? What about the good faith of the consumers who are about to pay for another streaming service while you're stealing money from the people who actually create the content? Champion's handler was now standing, making cutting motions across his throat, but the cameras kept rolling. The show's producers, initially concerned about the deviation from the planned segment, realized they were witnessing television gold. The color drained from Champion's face as he realized the depth of Owens's preparation. His media training had never covered a scenario like this. The veteran journalist had clearly done months of investigative work, and she was using this live television appearance as her platform to expose everything. "The investigations are preliminary," Champion stammered, trying to regain control of the narrative. "Routine inquiries that happen to all major corporations. There's been no wrongdoing found." "Routine?" Owens pulled out another document. "Sam, the Attorney General of California issued a formal notice of investigation just 48 hours ago. The state of New York followed 6 hours later. These aren't routine inquiries. These are criminal investigations into systematic fraud." Champion's handler was now frantically speaking into his phone, presumably trying to get anyone, to end this disaster. But the show's producers had made their decision. This was the kind of raw, unscripted television that networks dream about. "You're trying to destroy my reputation and my company based on selective leaks and partial information," Champion said, his voice taking on a desperate edge. "This is exactly why CEOs stop doing media appearances. You've turned what should have been an informative business segment into a witch hunt." Owens leaned back in her chair, maintaining her professional demeanor despite the explosive content. "Sam, I'm going to ask you a direct question, and I'd appreciate a direct answer. Yes or no, has Titan Entertainment withheld payments from content creators beyond the terms specified in their contracts?" "Business relationships are complex," Champion began, but Owens cut him off immediately. "That's not a yes or no answer. Has your company withheld payments beyond contractual terms? It's a simple question." Champion's jaw tightened. "You're oversimplifying incredibly complex licensing agreements that involve multiple parties, various territories, and different revenue streams." "So that's a yes," Owens stated flatly. "You've just confirmed that Titan Entertainment has indeed withheld payments. Now let's talk about why." "I didn't confirm anything," Champion protested, but his defensive posture told a different story. "You're putting words in my mouth and twisting everything I say." "I'm reading your company's own internal communications. Sam, let me share another gem from your executive team." Owens flipped to another page. Quote, "Most creators don't have the resources to pursue legal action, so we can safely delay payments indefinitely on contracts under $50,000. End quote. This email was sent by your chief financial officer and forwarded to your entire executive team. Champion stood up abruptly, his chair rolling backward. "This interview is over. You're conducting a coordinated attack using stolen documents and manufacturing a story that doesn't exist." "Sit down, Sam," Owens said calmly. "We still have 4 minutes left, and you haven't answered a single question honestly yet." "I don't have to sit here and be ambushed by a so-called journalist who's clearly working with disgruntled former employees to damage my company," Champion shot back, remaining standing. "Former employees?" Owens raised an eyebrow. "These documents came from current employees, Sam. People who are still working for Titan Entertainment, and are horrified by what they're being asked to do. They're whistleblowers, not disgruntled former staff." This revelation hit Champion like a physical blow. If current employees were leaking documents, his problems were far worse than he'd imagined. His media training had prepared him for tough questions, but not for a coordinated exposé based on insider information. "You're encouraging corporate espionage," he accused, grasping for any defense. "What you're doing is illegal and unethical." "What's illegal and unethical," Owens replied, her voice rising for the first time, "is stealing from people who trusted you with their creative work. What's illegal and unethical is lying to investors about your company's financial practices, while you know you're facing massive liability from unpaid obligations." Champion finally sat back down, but his body language screamed hostility. You've made up your mind about me and my company before this interview even started. This isn't journalism. It's activism disguised as news reporting. Sam, I want to read you one more thing, Owens said, ignoring his accusations. This is from a creator named Marcus Chen, a documentary filmmaker who worked with Titan Entertainment on a project about environmental conservation. Quote, I spent 3 years of my life creating this film, invested my life savings, and Titan Entertainment has now refused to pay me for 18 months. My family is facing foreclosure while Sam Champion announces record profits. End quote. I don't know the specifics of every individual case, Champion said quietly. But Owens wasn't finished. Marcus isn't alone. We've documented over 300 similar cases in the past 2 years. 300 creators who completed work, delivered their projects on time, and are now being systematically cheated by your company. The camera caught every micro-expression on Champion's face as the weight of the accusations mounted. What had started as discomfort had evolved into barely controlled rage. You want to know what really happened? Champion suddenly exploded. The studio atmosphere had become electric with tension. Camera operators were no longer just doing their jobs. They were witnessing what would undoubtedly become one of the most replayed television moments of the year. Champion's mask had completely slipped, and Owens was pressing her advantage relentlessly. Corporate criminal? Champion snarled, his voice echoing through the studio. You want to see what a real criminal looks like? Look in the mirror. You've stolen confidential documents, violated privacy laws, and you're using this platform to destroy a legitimate business based on lies and half-truths. Half-truths? Owens laughed, but there was no humor in it. Sam, I have a stack of documents 6 inches thick. Bank records, email communications, legal depositions, creator contracts, and payment records. Everything I've said today can be verified independently. Can you say the same about anything that's come out of your mouth? Champion slammed his hand on the desk, causing the coffee cups to rattle. You've been planning this ambush for months, haven't you? This was never about giving me a fair opportunity to present my side. This was about creating a spectacle for your ratings. My ratings? Owens's eyebrows shot up. Sam, I'm a journalist, not an entertainment host. My job is to hold powerful people accountable. And right now, you're one of the most powerful people in entertainment, actively harming vulnerable creators. Vulnerable creators, Champion repeated mockingly. These are business professionals who signed contracts. If they didn't understand the terms, that's their problem, not mine. I'm not running a charity. I'm running a business. The callousness of his statement seemed to surprise even Champion himself, but it was too late to take it back. Owens seized on his words immediately. So you admit it, she said, leaning forward. You admit that you're deliberately taking advantage of creators who may not have fully understood your intentionally complex contracts. You just confessed to predatory business practices on live television. I didn't confess to anything, Champion backpedaled frantically. I said that business contracts have terms and conditions that all parties agree to. That's how commerce works. Commerce works when both parties honor their agreements, Owens shot back. It doesn't work when one party systematically violates those agreements while hiding behind legal technicalities. Sam, you're not a businessman? You're a con artist with a corporate logo. Champion jumped to his feet again, this time knocking his chair completely over. I will not sit here and be insulted by some washed-up reporter who's clearly been paid off by my competitors to assassinate my character. Paid off? Owens stood up as well, matching his aggressive posture. Sam, the only person getting paid off here is you. $47 million while creators can't pay their rent. You want to talk about being bought? Let's talk about how you bought off state regulators for 3 years before these investigations finally started. That's slander, Champion shouted, pointing an accusatory finger at Owens. You just made a completely false accusation on live television. My lawyers will hear about this. Your lawyers are going to be busy, Owens replied coolly, sitting back down while Champion remained standing. Especially when they see what else we've uncovered about Titan Entertainment's relationship with certain government officials. The blood drained from Champion's face again. What are you talking about? Oh, now you want specifics? Owens smiled coldly. Senator Rebecca Walsh, chair of the Senate Commerce Committee. Her daughter's production company received a very generous deal with Titan Entertainment just 2 months before the committee decided not to investigate your business practices. Interesting coincidence, don't you think? Champion's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. This was clearly information he never expected to become public, and certainly not on live television during what was supposed to be a promotional interview. That's completely separate from any regulatory matters, he finally managed to stammer. We work with hundreds of production companies. There's nothing improper about standard business. Relationships. Standard business relationships don't involve giving sweetheart deals to the children of politicians who are supposed to be overseeing your industry, Owens replied. But let's not stop there. Congressman Michael Torres from the House Judiciary Committee. His nephew's tech startup received $2 million in funding from a Titan Entertainment subsidiary just weeks before Torres voted against the Creator Protection Act. You're implying corruption where none exists, Champian said weakly, but his earlier fight was completely gone. These are legitimate business investments made by our venture capital arm. Legitimate business investments in companies that had no revenue, no products, and no business plan beyond being related to politicians who could help Titan Entertainment avoid accountability, Owens stated matter-of-factly. Sam, you haven't just been stealing from creators. You've been buying off the very people who are supposed to protect them. Champion looked around desperately, as if hoping someone would rescue him from this nightmare. His handler had long since given up trying to control the situation and was presumably calling every crisis management firm in the country. This interview was supposed to be about our new streaming platform, Champion said quietly, a last-ditch attempt to redirect the conversation. We're creating jobs, investing in new technology, bringing entertainment to underserved markets. You're creating jobs by not paying the people who already work for you? The silence that followed Owens's last statement hung in the air like a heavy fog. Champion sat motionless, staring at the desk between them, seemingly processing the complete destruction of his carefully crafted public image. The cameras continued rolling, capturing every moment of his psychological collapse. Sam, Owens prompted gently, do you have anything to say to the creators who are watching this right now? The people whose work built your empire but who haven't been paid what they're owed? Champion looked up slowly, his eyes unfocused. I never intended for anyone to get hurt. The business grew so fast, the complexities became overwhelming. Sometimes decisions get made that seem necessary at the time, but look different in hindsight. That's not an apology, that's an excuse, Owens replied firmly. Marcus Chen, the documentary filmmaker I mentioned earlier, he's watching this interview right now. His family is facing foreclosure because of your overwhelming complexities. What would you say to him specifically? I would say that every situation is unique, and that we're working to resolve individual cases through proper legal channels, Champion answered robotically, falling back on corporate speak. Owens shook her head in disgust. Even now, even after everything that's been exposed, you can't bring yourself to take real responsibility. You're still hiding behind legal language and corporate doublespeak. What do you want me to say? Champion suddenly burst out, his voice cracking. That I'm a monster who deliberately set out to hurt people? That I wake up every morning thinking about how to steal from creators? Is that what would satisfy you? I want you to tell the truth, Owens replied simply. For once in this entire interview, just tell the truth about what happened and why. Champion was quiet for a long moment, wrestling with something internal. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. The pressure to show growth every quarter is relentless. Investors demand higher profits. Shareholders expect constant expansion. When revenue started slowing down, we had to find ways to maintain margins. And the easiest way was to stop paying creators, Owens finished for him. It wasn't supposed to be permanent, Champion continued, his facade crumbling completely. We thought we could delay payments, restructure some deals, weather the downturn, and then catch up when things improved. But the delays became standard practice, and the longer it went on, the harder it became to fix. So you admit it, Owens said quietly. You admit that Titan Entertainment has been systematically withholding payments from creators to maintain profit margins. Champion nodded, almost imperceptibly. Yes, but it wasn't malicious. It was survival. Survival for your company, Owens clarified, while creators lost their homes, their savings, their livelihoods. Your survival came at the expense of hundreds of people who trusted you. I know, Champion whispered, and for the first time in the interview, he seemed genuinely remorseful rather than just defensive. What about the political connections we discussed? Owens pressed. The deals with politicians, family members? Champion closed his eyes. When the regulatory pressure started building, we needed protection. Everyone in the industry does it. It's just how business gets done in Washington. Everyone commits bribery? Owens asked bluntly. It's not technically bribery, Champion protested weakly. These were legitimate business transactions that happened to benefit people who could influence policy decisions. Sam, listen to yourself. You're describing a textbook corruption scheme and calling it legitimate business. Do you understand that what you just admitted to on live television could result in federal charges? The reality of his situation seemed to hit Champion like a physical blow. His eyes widened as he realized he'd just confessed to multiple crimes on national television. I think I need to call my lawyer, he said quietly. You probably should have done that before coming here today, Owens replied. But since you're here, and since you've already admitted to systematically defrauding creators and engaging in political corruption, let me ask you one final question. Champion looked up at her with the expression of a man who knew he was trapped. What would you say to the creators who believed in you? Who trusted Titan Entertainment with their work, their dreams, their financial futures? What would you say to them right now? Champion was quiet for a long time, staring at his hands. When he finally looked up at the camera, his voice was hollow. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, and I know it doesn't pay your bills or save your homes. But I am truly sorry. We lost our way, and good people got hurt because of decisions I made or allowed to be made. That's on me. And what are you going to do about it? Owens pressed. I don't know, Champion admitted. The legal situation is complicated now. There are investigations, potential criminal charges. I can't make promises about payments, when I might not even be running the company much longer. So the creators who are owed hundreds of millions of dollars should just wait and hope that someday they might get paid? I honestly don't know what else to tell you, Champion said, his voice barely audible. I've made mistakes that I can't undo, and I don't know how to fix them. Owens turned to face the camera directly. Well, there you have it. Sam Champion, CEO of Titan Entertainment, has admitted on live television to systematically withholding payments from creators and engaging in what he calls legitimate business transactions with politicians' family members to avoid regulatory oversight. She turned back to Champion. Sam, thank you for your honesty finally. I think our viewers now have a much clearer picture of how Titan Entertainment operates. Champion said nothing. He sat in his chair looking